Dude, I love that. Well, look, we're live now into lab coats. I love the backstory, David. Thank you. Let's get right into it, guys. Today we're going to be talking about creating a client for life, and who better than to have on than David Moody here, because he's been a real estate agent and broker and in the real estate world for what now, over 30 years?
Yeah.
That's insane, dude. So I love that. So that's going to come into play here. And of course, we've got Marlon, who works with you here in the background. What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
How are you? Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you.
Anytime.
And then we've got Scott Oakley from MooveGuru. So this webinar is sponsored by MooveGuru. So we thought we'd have him on so he can chime in and explain how to create this whole process of creating a client for life. So let's get right into it, guys. Awesome. Scott, give us a quick rundown of what MooveGuru is, and then I want to go to David and talk about his processes and systems.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Tristan. So yeah, MooveGuru, it's fairly simple. Everyone's probably in the last couple of years heard of a mover automation platform. There's a few of us out there, and basically what we do is we help moving consumers make it easier when they do the transition from one home to the next. Really interesting. I read a study about the top 10 hardest points in somebody's life, and they listed them all. And the number 4 most stressful point in somebody's life is moving. I mean, it's ahead of divorce. It's crazy. So what we try to do is take some of the stress, not all of it, but we try to take some of the stress out of the move for that consumer. And so we do it in a variety of ways. I mean, and I'm not going to touch on the whole systems. I'm not going to steal all of David's time. But, we send out emails coming from the real estate agent's email address with discounts on things move related. We also help connect all utilities. So we give every one of your moving consumers a dedicated mover concierge, where we help them connect their electric, gas, water, garbage, TV, phone, internet. But really the thrust of what we wanted to discuss today is, how do you keep that customer for life? So what real estate agents are great at doing, and I've been supporting the real estate industry, not as long as David, but I've been supporting the real estate industry for about 26 years now. And what real estate agents are great at doing is going out and finding new business. Man, they drum it up. They drum up new business, they create new customers, and it works. But what most agents are doing is they're so busy getting new business, they forget about the people that they supported last week, last month, last year, 10 years ago. So how do we as an industry, and hopefully we can help, how do we as an industry change the dynamic of which NAR has said that 86% of people that were polled the day after their closing says, gosh, my real estate agent did a great job. I would use them again in a heartbeat. 86% said they would use their real estate agent again. But 8 years later, on average, when someone goes to buy or sell another home, only 14% use that same agent. So what's the disconnect? So I think that's really what we want to hone in on today is, what is the disconnect and how do we fix it?
I love that, man. So that's perfect, because I know David and his people here, his teams, are going to help us out with that, including Marlon. I'm assuming, Marlon, that's why you're here, man. You're good at that part. So that's sweet. All right, David, let's get started, man. You've been in the business for quite a while. And in creating a client for life, what are some of the things that are really integral to doing that, whether it's using part of what MooveGuru does and other pieces that make this a success?
First and foremost, it's the mindset. You have to have a mindset of desiring to create an excellent customer experience. Without that, I don't care what program you push, because at the end of the day, we're in the people business in real estate. So how do you get someone to remember you over and over again? Yes, it's nice to have the reminders. It's nice to have drip campaigns and all these different things that we can put in play as agents and brokers, or for that matter, any business. But it really boils down to that relationship. And if that customer doesn't feel, because it's better felt than said, that they got delivered a great experience when they worked with my agent or with our brokerage, then they're not coming back to begin with. So it's a mindset. And I think the mindset has to start inside the brokerage and then has to drip down to the agents.
Oh, I like that. It starts from the top to the bottom. And then when everybody else comes in, I think that's part of your massive success too, because you're drilling that all the way from the top to the bottom. The bottom, it penetrates the bottom. And then when you get new agents come in, they're seeing it amongst the rest of the agents. So,
yeah, very true. I mean, we end up taking, we take it very seriously. We set a goal about 4 to 5 years ago. I mean, even though I've been in business a long time, I don't think you have the longevity if you're not doing some of that. But I don't think we started recognizing it as much at the management level, and we wanted it to be a culture within our company. So what we started doing 4 to 5 years ago is creating within our written business plan specific goals of delivering on that customer experience, which is why the last 2 years within our brand, we've been the overall winner with customer satisfaction. Last year, we finished with a 99.2 SAT rate with a 62% return rate on surveys. So it's become kind of a culture within our company, and the agents really dive in and love the idea of getting feedback from the consumer and using that feedback to promote themselves again, as well as follow up, because you can get on there and contact people throughout the year that you've done business with, which helps foster whatever you're sending out.
I love that. All right, so let's go into it a little deeper. David, what are some of those things after mindset that you've applied to the brokerage and to the team that you've got here that they use and that you think are crucial into having this repeat business, long-term client for life type thing?
Okay. One of the things that we encourage through our coaching process is making sure that each agent has some type of follow-up system themselves, because everybody might be a little bit different. We encourage calling. Everybody's going to be different. We don't try to make them follow one specific thing. The one thing that we have automated is our partnership with ERA Moves, which is MooveGuru. And that's the automated piece. So the agent doesn't really have to think about that at all. It's an API push from Dot Loop, which is our transaction management. As long as the agent completes everything in there properly, then there's going to be an automatic push over to ERA Moves, which ends up pushing out the utility disconnect and connect service, as well as the dripped emails that are timed based upon when that particular buyer might be looking to choose to buy certain things. So whether it be like moving day, they get the pizza coupon or different things. So that one's automatic. The things that we try to teach that are flexible are things such as, how often do you want to personally contact your person? Do you want to go into your CRM and put a specific drip campaign? We got several libraries in there that can be added to each specific contact, and they can put a drip campaign together. If it's a lead that's getting, to me, there's no dead leads. There's only not now. They're never dead. They're bogus leads, but there's never dead leads. So those are some things we do. Letter writing campaigns. I do think handwritten notes go a long way, and I do feel that different timed intervals, I think Marlon does some of those, are good to put out there as well. Recognize birthdays, anniversaries, special dates during the year with your client. We try to make sure that we give all these different suggestions. Matter of fact, I've got probably a list of 99 different ways that you can prospect. And to me, follow-up is nothing more than prospecting your past client list. So
Ooh, I like
don't know if that answers your question.
Of that. David, the simplicity of what you just said is so good, man. Follow-up is just another way of prospecting your database, which is
all you're doing.
That's so easy. I wish people would just write that one down, because that's a solid one. All right, Marlon, let's go to you, buddy. What are some of the things that you're doing that are a little different, or maybe even along the same lines as what David is saying, that have helped you keep this client for life system in place?
Well, besides what David has mentioned, what I really try to create is a whole experience when we are doing the home search. It's not just about finding a house for the client. So as soon as I get the referral for a client, I establish a one-to-one session. And in one session, what I do is I try to educate them through about home mortgage, about the market, about the experience, about what she can expect, what she or he can expect, about how we can overcome any problems that might be throughout the process. Options, I've given several options, but also it's not just about that, it's about that's the way I see it. It's about having fun during the showings. Because sometimes for them it's exciting and sometimes it's stressful. So what I do is for every showing, I try to create an experience for them. And something that I didn't realize that I was good at until one of my clients told me is I help them to see the possibilities in some properties that maybe they do not realize or they do not see. And I help them to realize about the possibilities of different places. So the way I would see it is, when I go to a showing with a client, I don't open the door. I don't like to open doors. I like to show them and create a whole experience with them. I make videos when we are doing the showings. They have fun. Sometimes I just make friends with them.
How are you using that though? And I think that's what, correct me if I'm wrong, Tristan, I think that's what you're getting at. How are you using those things while you're actually working with them to follow up after the close?
It makes it easier. It makes it way easier because when I follow up with them, it's not just the guy who sold my house.
Got it.
It is, oh, it's Marlon. And many of them, they just say, oh, George's family. So I just call, and when I call, I don't talk business a lot. So like twice a year, I would do it. But when I call them genuinely to see how they are doing. And I remember things about them. And it's about, I talk to the person. I don't talk about business. So I ask about their families. I ask about how they are doing with their new house. And if you do that when you are following up, they see that you're not seeing them as a number and as a business.
Got it. And Marlon, do you keep notes in a CRM or how do you keep track of everybody? What are you doing?
Well, yes, we have a CRM with ERA. It's called Zap. So that helps you a lot because it tells you what you can do every day. But also I use my phone for the short-term follow-ups. I use my phone a lot.
Okay.
For the long term, I use the CRM. And also something that I like about the CRM is that I take notes about the clients. Like there are some little things, some little clues that would remind me about that client, about their taste, about their family, about something, sometimes about the pets.
Okay. Well, let's talk then about the automation piece, which is MooveGuru. How have you, how have you worked that into the business? Are these things that are happening automatically in the background and people reach out to you, or how's that conversation going?
Well, that I love it. And, when we started to know about MooveGuru and David told us about it, I just follow the rules always. And I was doing as I'm told and all that stuff. You need to put this in the system. You need to subscribe your clients. You need to do this. And I'll do all that stuff. But I really didn't realize with my clients how it was working. It was until my second to the last closing, it was my buyer and it was their seller. So when they were, having a conversation, my buyer said, yeah, even Marlon sent me these pizza tickets or discounts. And he's sending me all these Home Depot stuff and all that. So he was talking about MooveGuru, but he wasn't talking about MooveGuru per se. So he was talking about me doing all that for him. And the seller was like, oh, you do all that. And I said, Yes, we have a program that we do that, and we try to make sure that they get the utilities. So then I started to describe what MooveGuru does. And my client was so excited because he said it was just like 30 minutes phone call, and I didn't have to worry about anything else. So, and my last client, he was emailing me about, Marlon, I need to know about the utilities and the providers and all that stuff. And I said, well, hang on a minute. Haven't anybody in my company contacted you for that matter? And he said, it's like this ERA moves thing. And he said, but this is America, and everybody in America charges for something. Nothing is for free. And I thought that that was some kind of a scam, because I thought that I would be charged. So I didn't want to talk to them. And I said, hang on a minute. I understand what you're talking about, and I understand everybody has a business model. Mm-hmm. But that is a service that my company is providing you with, and it will not cost you anything. So what you're actually doing is, if you want to do your own research about who is doing the utilities and all that, you are more than welcome to do it yourself. But the only one reason why I didn't even bother to do all that for you is because I'm sure my company would contact you and let you know about all these that you don't have to worry about, and they will set it up for you. So, that you don't have to deal with it. But if you want to do it yourself, that's your choice. That, feel free to do it. And she said, oh, no, I would call them back because I was just worried that they would charge me some kind of fee or something. I don't want to pay for that. And I said, well, you don't have to.
I love it. Marlon, that's an interesting thing you bring up, because the very first time I met Scott at the Future event in Vegas last year,
right?
I asked, wait, this is free? What do you mean? And how do people pay for this, right? So then he went on and explained to me that they get paid through all of the companies that are in this program. So I thought that was awesome. So great job on that, Scott. Let's move over, David, to you. And let's dig a little deeper into the client for life analogy here, because I've been in business for 16 years, not as long as you, but I realized probably like 5 years into the business, I was like, okay, I should have been keeping track of my past clients.
Yep.
I should have been following up with them better. And I really didn't hit that until a little later. And I wish I had done a better job at the beginning. What are some things that you're doing technology-wise that are allowing you to automate this process, besides using MooveGuru, because I love their pieces when they email and do all of that whole process? But what else? What's the automation piece look like?
As far as touching the person?
As far as touching specifically your past clients and that sphere that you have.
Yeah. To me, we encourage every agent to use HomeBot. That's another product out there on the market.
I love HomeBot.
I think HomeBot does a fabulous job in providing an automated value model for the past person's home, especially if they've got equity. They want to kind of know where they're at month over month, and it's branded to the agent, so any agent can access that. It's very cheap at $25 a month for 500, and then $10 per month for anything over that for an additional 500. So for $35 a month, you can get 1,000 people in there if you wanted to. But I think that's something we encourage all of our people to do. We may upgrade that to a company account. We have not done that yet, but I would say right now a good 50% of our agents are on that system. As far as just from our coaching standpoint, we really work with the agent to try to make sure that they're dialing, because I really feel like it's that personal touch that matters most. And you have to put everybody on develop your system that works for you. But I really feel like somewhere around once a quarter minimum, we need to be talking to our past client in some fashion, whether it be text or a personal phone call. To me, those are a little more intimate. Email can get kind of cold. So drip campaigns are great, and you can get so automated you become numb. And I think there's people, if you can send out so much, you can overload somebody, and especially email. We all get hundreds of emails per day, And before you know it, you're just numb to the whole situation, that people are ignoring your message. So
That's so true.
it's that personal touch that matters to me.
All right, so let's go into the personal touch a little more. And Scott, feel free to chime in at any time here with the personal touch, because I think, David, I think you're right. With what happened with COVID, it's all of a sudden people wanted to talk to you differently.
Yep.
I felt like people want to connect now, right? And with that opportunity, we should be reaching out to them and really be more authentic in our approach, right? Really understand what it is that they want, not just automate this whole process. Like you said, hey, here's another property. Hey, here's a text with interest rates. Here's how the market's doing. I think it needs to go a lot deeper. So when you're having your agents, your team, or the people that you lead, when you're having them call, what does that conversation sound like? What are you telling them?
Starts with, how are you?
I love that. All right, and we're done, guys. That's it. Thank you, David.
I mean, to me, it's, how are you? I mean, it's got to be something that is touching somebody. If it's just started out with business, it's a turnoff. And I think today, you're right. People want to talk. They want to see more, because a lot of people are stuck in their homes. You know, here in Georgia, we opened up, probably one of the first states to open up of all the states. And yes, there's a lot of people out and about, but there's still a lot of carefulness here. We're very mindful there is a virus. We want to be careful of that. And I think for the most part, Georgians are doing that. But, you know, we do move around, but there's a lot of people in their homes, and they don't go to the restaurant as much. They're definitely not going to the movies and the bowling alley, even though they're open. They're still not going. Yeah. They want to see people. They want to interact. And I think they're, you know, with Zoom, Facebook Live, I think, to me, I really push that pretty heavily. I've got several agents that are doing a good job with that, you know, where you can actually invite your past clientele to a live setting, and maybe have maybe the topic ends up being something happening in your local town or your local market, or a particular topic about what's happening in the real estate market, and invite your past people to that. I mean, if they're on Facebook or any other type of social media, it's pretty easy to do. You just invite them in.
Hey,
there's multiple ways to contact.
That's very true.
Yeah, if I could just interject real quick, the one thing that we've always tried to do is support the real estate community, and specifically with David, you know, MooveGuru has white labeled a program for David's brokerage and all of ERA called ERA Moves. We tried to change the dynamic around keeping in touch with past customers by email and other ways. But let's specifically talk about email. The typical way that agents for years have communicated with past customers is, you know, they pay a company $19 a month. That company sends out automated emails that are say, hey, don't forget, it's spring cleaning time, clean your gutters. Or, you know, hey, it's Thanksgiving, here's a great turkey recipe. If I'm gonna be honest, Tristan, those are boring. I mean, they just really are. You gotta
the problem with that, Scott, is that agents put it on an automated process, and they never, like David said, they never take the time to pick up the phone and call in between those, because if you don't, it's never going to give that authenticity piece to it. Because if I'm sending you, David, Marlon, and Scott, you know, my cool little I don't know, how to cook a pie thing and other
Your
cute
offering
little things.
of the month.
Yeah, whatever that is. But I never call you, that means nothing. But if I call you, all of a sudden that stands out more and it means more to you. And I think that's the missing piece. And you're right on, David and Scott. It's just pick up the phone and just engage with people and ask, how are you doing? And just shut up and listen.
Well, Tristan, you asked about how do you automate it. I think you can't really automate the authenticity of the phone call. What you can do is automate your schedule. You can get your schedule written in such a way that it's intentful. And then when you look at whether you do it by your phone, have it notify you, or whether you put it in your CRM and have it notify you. You've got to have something dinging you upside the head to say, hey, time to make that connection and keep developing that relationship, because the deeper the relationship gets, the stronger the dollars get on the back end, because they'll just refer you over and over and over again, which is what we all want.
That's very true. I have a question for you, David, from the audience, from Jennifer. It's a good question because I know a lot of agents struggle with this. I haven't talked to some clients in a long time. How do you open up?
How do you open up to a past client that you haven't talked
how
to
do
in a
you
while?
take that? How do you take that next step to actually make that phone call? And what does that phone call sound like?
Okay. To me, I'll try to think of somebody I haven't spoken to in a while here. I got a past, well, I don't compete anymore, but I got a past client that's a cousin of mine named Randy. If I called her, I'm going to make a phone call. He's going to answer the phone. I'm going to say, hi, Randy, here, it's David Moody. I'm going to have some relationship with him. So my intro is going to be, surely he's going to remember who I am. I shouldn't have to, if it's been that long ago that you have to explain who you are again, you're in trouble already. But my belief is there's going to be some remembrance of that excellent service that you gave within your job, or at least some remembrance of that relationship. So to me, it's just starting out. How are you? Everything needs to start out with that personal touch, because I don't care if it's been 3 years since you spoke to somebody. It's as easy as, hi, Tristan, it's been a while since we spoke. How are you doing? And then just shut up and let them talk. Because
I love that.
It's an easy intro. Who's going to take offense to that? I don't care if you barely knew them or remember them. How are you? They're probably sitting in their mind going, who is this guy? Why is he calling me again? Hopefully it's not been that long since you spoke to somebody that you delivered a good experience on. But I think it's got to be something as simple as, how are you? Or how have you been lately?
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
You know, depending on what kind of company you're in, or if you're involved with a brand or not, a lot of different companies have different touch point systems.
Mm-hmm.
I have always professed for years to use a 6-touch program. And that 6-touch program is 6 different ways to touch the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to do it multiple times throughout the year. I know some real estate companies say, hey, touch your past customers 15 times a year. I've heard as many as touch your customers 36 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
But doing that, I mean, you have to use different available ways to touch your consumer. Email, of course, text, phone calls, visits, okay? Visit their work, visit their home, a gift, and a 30-cent flag on the 4th of July, stuck in their mailbox flag, and then social. So you've got to use all 6 of these different techniques to be able to touch your past clients. And you do it multiple times a year. And within MooveGuru, we offer the touch program from email. So we're one of the 6. But you have to go out and you have to create the other 5 in a different way. We just are really good at what we do on the email front. And of course, it doesn't cost anything for the agent to use the MooveGuru program.
There's a question for you, Scott, on that. And then there's also a second question. So Zoe, I see your question. I'll get to it. Eric's got a good question. He's asking, I'm going to shorten it, summarize it. Is MooveGuru editable on the back end? So if we want to remove some of those vendors or sponsors, can we put in our own or take out some of the ones you offer?
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, the platform is completely customizable. So we give to every one of the agents that we support, again, at no cost at all. We give them a back-end dashboard. And so you can actually go into your dashboard and you can customize the offers that you want to go out. Now, we already have, should I show an example of one real quick?
Yeah, show me an example.
Okay.
And if anybody has any questions, just throw them in there. Zoe, I see your question. It's a good one. And I'll ask it to David as soon as we're up here.
Okay, so here's one example. Now, this is one of our national ones that we give out during the actual mover journey. We're partners with the Home Depot, Budget Truck, Pods, all these great offers that give discounts. But I just wanted to show you what an email that we created on behalf of the agent looks like. It has the agent branding at the bottom. It has whatever, now, of course, with David's organization, it's called ERA Moves. So your brokerage logo in the top, and then we fill that email with some kind of discount surrounding the home. Now, we have, for the Customer for Life program, we touch all of your past customers every quarter. So now every single quarter, there's going to be a different offer. It could be 30% discount on air filters, a change for their heating and cooling system. We're doing one right now, which is great with Home Chef. Home Chef's giving us a $30 gift card just to give to the consumer on behalf of the agent.
That's like a whole day meal. I love that.
Absolutely. Hey, you want to feed your family today? Here's a $30 gift card just to try Home Chef. And it comes from the agent, and it looks like to your past customers that you're actually sending this out, and it's all completely automated through MooveGuru. Now,
Dude, I love that. I'm going to interrupt you with one thing because I'm going to go back to what David said because it's perfect for this. And that's when he said, look, as much tech as you have out there, you're going to lose a lot of opportunities if you don't pick up the phone and call. Because Scott, right here, what you're showing, this is amazing. And what would make it absolutely brilliant is if agents pick up the phone and explain some of the things that they're going to get, right? All of a sudden, you're not just getting another email. Now you're looking forward to it and you're explaining the process. You're making them feel like you actually care. Because if I'm just getting this email, I'm like, okay, cool. But if I'm getting a call on top of it, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay. It makes more sense. So it's exactly what David was saying. So I just wanted to add that piece.
Yeah. There's a great question right now from it says I can't tell who it's from. Anyway, it says I love this.
It's from got it. I got her.
Yeah.
Good.
A CRM called KV Core that I can customize. Will I be allowed to copy and paste the template and add it to the drip campaign through KV Core? So I wanted to highlight that one because here's something coming out in the future, and it's not here yet. But let me tell you, it is about to be here in the next 60 days. This is what it's going to tie your customer all the way in. So we're going to go ahead on your behalf and send out these quarterly updates to all your past customers. Well, right now, our development team is spending a lot of time and effort integrating with the big CRMs out there, like KV Core and MoxieWorks and Zap and all these different back-end CRMs. So now what we're going to be able to do is grab all of your past customers all at once, put it into the platform, and then push it out on your behalf. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. I'm going to show you one slide because I'm going to tease you, but again, it's not here yet. So what we're going to be able to do is we have a consumer portal. And every time we send out an email to one of your customers and they say, oh, wow, I want that discount from Home Chef, and they click on it, it's going to drive your past customer back to the consumer portal that's branded to you. This one is an example of a Kai's company, but it's branded to you. And they're going to be able to not only get the discount that you showed them on the email, but every discount geo-targeted by zip code. Okay, so now they get all these great discounts, but here's the cool thing. If they click on anything that even smells, tastes, or sounds like they could be in the market to buy or sell again, our system goes ding, 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 ding. Hey, your past customer from 7 years ago just clicked on a link inside your consumer portal that says, what are today's mortgage rates? Folks, that's a buying sign. So we email you, the agent. We say, hey, agent, your customer from 7 years ago just clicked on this. You need, like David said, to pick up the phone and say, hey, remember me? I'm your real estate agent from 7 years ago. And all of a sudden, you're just going to realize that they're going to say, oh, yeah, I am. We just talked about it last night that we were thinking about listing our home. Great. So now what happens is that the MooveGuru platform, again, totally free, becomes a way to mine your past customer database.
Dude, I love that. That's beautiful. So that ties into everything that we're talking about beautifully here. Now let's go to some of the questions. And I know if you have any questions about MooveGuru, we can answer them as we go here. But let's go to Zoe. Zoe Brees had a great question. And any one of you can answer this one. We have inherited some contacts from retired agents, so we have never had the relationships established. How do you take those contacts and warm them up? But in a way that doesn't come across as having a hidden agenda. Anything that we can do there? Any suggestions on that?
Scott, you want to go first? I know what you guys can do.
David, that is all you.
You can definitely go into the MooveGuru backend dashboard and add people into the program. But I think the first thing I'd want to do is, again, try, since it's a customer that's a past customer that you actually either purchased or got from someone who retired out of business, you don't have that infinite relationship that they have. So I think the first thing that I'd want to do is make sure that I pick up the phone again and just try to attempt to make a warm phone call and write a script out ahead of time that fits your personality as far as introducing yourself and letting them know how you got their name. Because you got to think like the receiver of the call. How would you feel if someone called you?
Yeah, that's perfect. I think that's one piece that a lot of agents forget about is the empathy part, right?
Yeah.
So put yourself in their shoes and don't avoid the elephant in the room, right? How did you get their phone number, right? And talk about the other agent. They did retire, and now we're helping them with all of their past clients and their sphere, and we're here to help you out. We just wanted to let you know. Easy, right? But David's right. Write this down so that it matches your tone, matches who you are, so that translates through that conversation. Because the last thing you want to do is pick up the phone and just kind of talk and then figure things out on the go.
Oh,
that won't usually work.
Exactly, Trey. You don't want to sound like this. Well, I just want to talk.
No, you don't.
You can't be, Charlie Brown's teacher. They don't want to hear that. The issue is they want to hear somebody that's real on the other end that has a real desire to help them. But you got to be honest with them. They got to know where you got the phone number, because this day and time, you get phone numbers from the internet pretty easy in a lot of cases. But people are just security conscious more than they've ever been. I mean, we live in that kind of world.
You know, something that I have done, I think that when we read scripts, it can sound not real. So what I like to do, I don't write scripts. Or if I'm given scripts, I create bullet points. So when I am having a conversation on the phone with any prospect or client, I have bullet points. So I know exactly what I need to say or a topic that I need to talk about real quick. So when I do that, I have 3 bullet points. And those are the 3 things that I will talk about. So if you have like a script and you don't want to go over and over and over and over, or sometimes memorize it and all that, just create 3 bullet points. And with those 3 bullet points is, for example, and I would think the way that you are asking David, how would you introduce yourself if you have a bunch of contacts that you don't even know? First of all, the first bullet point, I would say, call the person, right? And the first bullet point would say, introduce yourself. 2, how do you get the contact? 3, create rapport. And then follow up. So just by having bullet points, you will have like a guide of what you want to talk about. So you don't have to write a whole speech or a whole script about it. So that for me, it saves me time, and it's just like a guide.
Yeah, I love that. Follow whatever works for you. If it's a full script, because that's you, or outline, right? Bullet points. I love that addition, Marlon. Very, very good. All right, next question. I got a few questions for you guys. They're just coming in now. Lourdes says, what advice do you give to new agents that don't have any clients and with COVID-19 are having challenges to get clients? What do you suggest on that one, guys?
Wow.
And I can go first if you don't want to, so just throw it on me anytime.
Well, let me tell you something.
Marlon's fairly, I mean, he's only been in the business
Couple of years. But let me tell you something. And he knows this. I hate social media to bits, right? I do. I seriously do. But I have forced myself to do it, right? By doing it, I have created a bunch of contacts that little by little, they're warming up, and they give you referrals. So it's at the beginning, I was like, I think they call this ghosting. Like you have your profile and you are there and you have the post and you do nothing. And I had this, look what I had to do. I had to hire a social media manager who had to coach me and pull my ear and remind me, Marlon, you have to spend, remember, 30 minutes a day on Instagram. Guys, if you are good at social media and you like it, you don't need a social media manager. I do, because I don't like it. And I need someone pulling my ear saying, Marlon, you need to do your stories. Marlon, don't forget Facebook. Marlon, and I have to be honest. When I'm on Instagram or Facebook, I know I see all these bunch of posts that I don't care about. I pull myself my ear and I said, okay, she said I need to do this, and I need to find topics that I really like and I can engage and I can make a conversation, participate in that. So when you do that, people will start noticing that you are being authentic. And even though I know it's very different than having a real connection or a person to person or one-on-one, that is the closest thing that you will do, or how you can do it. Being authentic, don't go ghosting on the social media platforms, participate and engage. And a way that I have found easier for me to engage is participate in forums that I care about, that I am interested, that I can provide with information, that I can contribute with. Like, for example, I love cooking. I was a previous chef. I got injuries on my hands, so I cannot do it anymore. But I can talk about food. I can give advice about cooking. I can talk about products in the kitchen that will work or will not work. That I can do. That I'm not lazy to do. So I can go on social media, on Instagram or Facebook, and go to cooking forums. Or if I see on social media people that does or that make food that I'm like, that's interesting. So then I would do that. I love healthy food. So if I see people that is into healthy food or workout stuff, or if I scroll down and I see posts that are interesting about working out, about how to eat healthy or create healthy fun recipes.
Yeah, that makes
go and comment, make comments. I create a real connection with them rather than just having to do likes willy-nilly to everyone with for no reason.
Well, I think what we can also say is when you're looking at being able to use social media to create opportunities for yourself, you're looking at the way the internet works now. I mean, it is social. You Google the top 4 most visited websites in the world. It's Google, YouTube, and Facebook. Facebook goes between number 3 and number 4, right? So, I mean, that's insane, right? So when you're looking at it that way and you say, well, what do I love, right? What do I love to do that I'm really good at? Then you do that on social and you mix and pepper in some real estate into there. And then the ones that do really, really well, like the ones that do above average, those are the ones you put a little bit of money into. Put $10, $20, because people already love that one. And then you put 20 bucks into it, more people comment and like, and then just do me a favor, don't ever stop engaging, right? Go in and engage with people that like your stuff. And so really good point, David. And I would totally tell people that are struggling right now to get new clientele, go on social, whatever social you're using. It could be TikTok, it could be Instagram, it could be LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever your strength is, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you're going all in on that. Anything you want to add to that, David?
Not really. I mean, a lot of people, I mean, most any broker will tell you to start with your sphere of influence if you're new. But to me, that can get boring if you're not careful. You have to make it interesting. So I love the idea with all the online stuff, with the different social media platforms. It's real easy to take your interest, whatever that interest may be, because if you're not passionate or excited about it, then you're not going to be able to connect to anybody.
Yeah.
So I agree with Marlon. He has a food interest in being a former chef. I mean, if you take that interest and then you find forums or ways to engage with people socially online, no matter what medium you pick, or maybe actually you need to pick more than one, more than Facebook. Be in different places.
Very true. Different audiences.
If you have to hire an outside firm, there's plenty of outside firms that deal with real estate people, but be careful with them because it can become so stale and generically around real estate so much that it's not authentic anymore. And then that engagement goes down, and then you don't have that relationship and rapport being built.
Something I would add real quick is you are going to be engaging in social media. I know that there are 3, 4, the 5 most important platforms. But what I would say, and that I think works for me, being someone who is not interested in social media at all, and I do it because I have to, is if you're going to be on social media, be in the social media that you are certain that you will participate. Don't be in social media that you will not really participate, because you can have your profile on YouTube, Instagram, blah, 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 blah. But if you're going to be really focused on Instagram and Facebook, those are the ones that you really not, because otherwise, if you're not going to be paying attention and engaging in all the other 3 or 4, you're just going to be ghosting as well. So you might as well not do it.
That's a great point. That's a great. Scott, we've got a question for you from the audience. It's a good one. Peter Caputo, what's up, Peter? How many touch points does MooveGuru touch in 12-month period?
Yeah. Okay. So we use different channels. So we use email, phone, and text. So on the email side, during that mover journey, we consider it 90 days total, 45 days prior and 45 days after. So we're going to send about 8 to 10 over 90 days, because that's when they're spending a lot of money and they need discounts. Then we go to once a quarter. So in that 12 months, say we're going to touch them somewhere between 12 and 14 times for the year. And then year 2, it's going to go to 4 times a year. But then we also make a phone call on your behalf. So Tristan, I'm going to use your name as an example. I'm calling up David Moody, who's a customer. And we call up David. We say, hey, David, this is Scott calling on behalf of your real estate agent, Tristan from XYZ Brokerage. Tristan has given you a complimentary service to connect all of your utilities. Is now a good time for us to help you do that, or should we call you back and make an appointment? Or actually make an appointment and then call you back. So then we touch them by phone. And then if we're not able to reach them by phone to help them connect utilities, we actually touch them twice by text. Some people like to communicate by text. So we do total of about 17 different touch points in the first 12 months.
Wow. All right. I love that. That's good. And I think we should definitely do what David was saying, which is you got to call in between, right? David, what's your Instagram handle, or where would people follow you? Because I had 3 people already asked, 2 here and 1 on one here and 2 on Facebook.
So about Marlon or me?
Both of yours.
Remember, I don't like social media.
You got Instagram, go.
Marlon_Homes on Instagram.
Perfect. And David, how about you, buddy?
I actually flow everything through the company. I mean, I'm on Facebook as just David Moody. I don't have it as, I don't even have a bit. I teach the agent how to do a business page, but I don't compete.
But you don't do it, huh?
I'm not compete broker. So,
I love that. All right, we'll find David Moody
but just David Moody on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn. You can find me on there as well. And I do have an Instagram account that I'm not as active in as I need to be. I will admit that.
Right.
But you can easily find stuff on Facebook about the company, and we post all of our stuff out there.
Perfect. Scott, question for you, buddy. 2 questions for you.
Okay.
One is from Eric, which I'm not sure if you answered already. right? You did? There's no cost at all to MooveGuru? You did answer
No.
that?
No, there's not. We get
Perfect.
a little piece from all of our advertisers, and that's why we can make it free to the brokerage, free to the agent, free to the consumer.
Perfect. I just wanted to make that clear to everybody. You did answer that. Bob has a question. He says, hey, I agree with David's points on bullet points and writing out a script. And Marlon, is there a page on MooveGuru that outlines all of the services ERA Moves provides to the clients? Anything on your end, David, or even Scott, that you create for ERA Moves that shows, hey, these are all the things that you can search online or through our website? Anything like that?
But within our brand, I mean, ERA provides us on their intranet site, which is called Leverage. There's a page in there dedicated to ERA Moves. So it'll bullet out exactly what's being offered so that the agent can understand it and translate that over to the consumer. My best chance, and I guess Marlon, your best one to answer this to me, if you're going to talk about this program that MooveGuru powers for us, I think the time to do it at minimum is at the closing table. Because to me, it's almost like a closing gift. I mean, we're going to give a closing gift usually, but this is an addition to that. But the best time to talk about it is the first time that you meet the buyer and set the expectations of how that experience should go in finding their home, what their needs are, and giving them the sense that you're taking care of them, because when it comes down to it, they're going to get a offer to get utilities connected and disconnected. That you don't want them surprised. You don't want them surprised by the phone call. That's the worst case scenario. Great point. I love it. All right, let's wrap up with one great question for you, Scott, and it's from Ron, because he said this. He says, "Hey, I did a transaction with an agent using a moving service, not yours. All right, a different moving service." And he's always been hesitant when he has to give control over to a different company, right? The last transaction here, what allows them to be able to not make these mistakes that are made? Because one was a huge mess up on an electric switch, on an electric utility, switching the names and so forth.
Yeah. So, okay, I know it wasn't us, but it's probably one of MooveGuru's competitors when we connect utilities, which there's a couple out there. They do a great job. So I'm going to just answer this generically and say that we try the best that we can to help the consumer through the best experience possible. Are there scenarios where we're not able to help the consumer? Absolutely. There are some electric companies that just absolutely will not allow us to help the consumer connect their power. There are certain water companies. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to say there's 80% of the water companies out there that just don't let us work on behalf of the consumer. So in those scenarios, we actually have to apologize to the consumer, send them an email with like their water company's information to them, and just say, look, these are the things you're going to need to do to get your water connected. Unfortunately, we can't help you with that. So while we try to always give the best consumer experience, sometimes we're not allowed to. So in regards to that other company that was trying to connect utilities, sometimes it happens. So we do apologize, but sometimes we just can't help everyone.
All right, makes total sense. Marlon, how do you spell your name, buddy?
Marlon.
He's writing it down.
We got it. Let's see here. Marlon_Homes. Perfect. All right. If you want to follow him, there it is.
Hey, I'll make one comment on that, Tristan, about what Scott answered. Nothing in the world's perfect in my mind. Only effort can be perfect. The results sometimes can be off, but if you're making effort, then that's about as perfect as you're going to get. And because you can't get anywhere without effort. And I know that Scott and his group make a valiant effort to make sure that they please our people, our customers and consumers. And we're thankful for that, I think. But, are they without mistake? No. Everybody's going to have some things, but I can tell you one thing, they're responsive. So I believe that's key as well, because nothing's ever going to be 100% good all the time, but it's how you respond to issues that come up that matter. And that, just like with we're talking about follow-up and customer for life. If you don't respond to problems as much as you do praise the good times, you got a problem, dude.
I love that. And we'll just leave it with that, guys. Thank you so much. Scott, this is MooveGuru. We did put up the links there. Go ahead and click on them if you have any questions. You know where to reach me. I'll answer them if I can. If not, I'll send you over to Scott. And David, thank you so much for your time. Marlon, you too. You know how to get a hold of both now David and Marlon. And this is recorded. It's going to go onto our Lab Coat Agents YouTube channel, so you can watch some of those nuggets that everybody dropped here. So guys, thank you so much for being on. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care of baby Yoda there.
Oh, dude, for sure. He's being taken care of. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.